Hari Om and welcome to all the Divine Atma Jyotis to today's AVSC Satsang. Let us continue our contemplation of Advaita Makaranda. Today, let us continue with shloka number 8. So far, we've been framing different questions. So each one of us have been chanting and then narrating our understanding, and based on that, questions have been coming up. So today, let us continue that pratha, that approach of that manana. So today's focus is to begin with shloka number 8. So Sarananji, would you like to chant and contemplate?
Sure.
Yeah.
न देहो नेन्द्रियं चाहं न प्राणो न मनो न दीहि ममता परिरब्धत्वात्
Tapa parirabdvat, rabdhatvat.
ममता परिरब्धत्वात्
Mama tapa pari.
मम
Tapa.
ताप मम ताप अगेन परि
Mamata
ममता
parirabdvat.
या ममता परिरब्धत्वात्
Ah,
ममता परिरब्धत्वात् क्रीडत्वात्
Kridatvat.
इदं दियः ममता परिरब्धत्वात् आक्रीडत्वात् इदं मम धियः इदं दियः. Yeah. I am neither the body nor the senses nor the life force, prana, nor the mind nor the intellect. These belong to the intellect as they are merely possessed and played with, whereas I am the witnessing self. Na, not deha, body, indriyam, senses, cha, and aham, na, not na, prana, the life force, vital energy, not mana, the mind, the intellect, buddhi, mamata parirabdhatvat, due to being possessed or claimed as mine, akridatvat, akridatvat, due to being played with, used like a toy or instrument. Idam, this body, mind, senses, diyaha, of the intellect, belonging to the buddhi, intellect. Yeah. Yeah, we have seen this explanation statement boldly again and again in many scriptures. Um, so in this verse, uh, Kavi is um, stating how what is seen and what is felt is not me. What is seen, the body, and what is felt, I would say, the senses that I can see, I could hear, I can hear, right? Prana, the life, the the breath, the movement, the mind, uh, I I the thinking part, the intellect, the deciding part, right? Um, are not me, saying, and why? He's saying they belong to the intellect. The what the knowledge, I can see that the knowledge I have gathered controls the body, the senses, through the actions that I take. And again, the mind, when it comes to mind, uh, right now, I would say, like, it's like an independent machine that is running, but I can observe the thoughts. And since as I'm stating, since I can observe the thoughts, since I can see the body, he's saying I and the body, I and the mind, the two things are coming into play, the subject and the object. And as a result, I cannot be the subject, the object, the body or the mind or the intellect. And so he's able to derive that this I is nothing but the witnessing entity, witnessing these two. And that entity is what he's saying, the self, uh, the source powering the body, and the seen and the unseen but felt mind and intellect. It's even in the even uh, without um having deep knowledge or deep contemplation, it is very obvious in the way uh, um, uh, one speaks, right? My body, and like I am thinking. So it is like always very obvious and very clear that I and this body and the intellect, mind, are two separate entities. Where it becomes, but why is it not a common knowledge, or why is it such a big deal, is the way these two are tied. That is where the whole uh, fun begins, right? While it is easy to say that it is my body, but um, when something affects the body, uh, the mind starts and starts the kickstarts the process of saying I am suffering, right? And and the intellect starts going into the next gear, saying, okay, how do I get rid of the suffering? And these three things, they just continue the play. Okay, while the one that is, if I step back, I can see that these three are playing. Still, it is not easy to disconnect, saying, oh, okay, let those three play. I'll continue to watch. It's not easy, because uh, for a untrained, or for a jiva, or what we call yogi, right? The one who is uh, practicing or in the path of learning, when there is a pain, um, unless one is trained, the pain just takes over, and no intellect comes into play at that time, or um, the ability to discriminate. Hey, I learned this, right? I am not the body and mind. That discrimination power becomes very weak for a untrained, and so the suffering um, remains prominent, right? And the whole study we are doing is to develop that discrimination power, which can help uh, s- at the time of need. I would put it that way. At the time of need, right? It's like saying, I have learned, uh, I have learned a new way, but unless I practice it when I need it, I will not remember how to use it, effectively use it. Right? It is just that, or I may even forget it, that I had learned it. Right? Same way, what this Ramana Manana Nididhyasana is supposed to do is to strengthen that discrimination power, so that, like, um, that's what is um, my own now the buddhi is trying to give, which is to develop that discrimination power, and be able to remain established in the knowledge that I'm that self, right? Yeah.
Wonderful. Very nice, Saranji. Rajita ji, do you have any questions for Saranji?
Yes, Vijayji. Saravanan ji, I remember Guruji was telling,
Mhm.
intellect is nothing but your higher mind. Um,
Mhm.
like we have in a mind itself, a lower level, lower mind and higher mind. So how the Kavi is telling here that um, these belong to intellect, and uh, so can you explain your understanding on that?
Yeah. So, w- um, see, at the end, when when I see, let's say, when I see fire, okay, um, whether I will put my hand in it or not, right? It is driven, while mind controls the senses. It is driven from the uh, intellect, on like what has happened from the experiences, right? It is, or from the knowledge.
Past
Okay,
experiences. Past.
uh, hmm?
Huh.
Right. So the knowledge or the experience that one is gaining through the intellect, that is going to guide the mind on like what to do in certain circumstances. And that's why we say that it is uh, it belongs to the intellect, wherein like you use the intellect all the time to decide what to do, right? That is in some ways consciously, when we are trying to deal with, right? And
Mm.
subconsciously is nothing but, subconsciously doing things is nothing but like it has become a habit. So the past experience has become a habit for the mind, so it just uh, takes action, right? And which is nothing but like repeatedly doing the same thing. It's like I will go to the teacher when I don't know the first time, and the teacher tells me this is what you need to do. And maybe the second time, if I try to do after 1 week, I may not remember 100%. I may remember, let's say, 50%. Again, I go to the teacher. Again, the teacher tells me the same thing, right? And third time, I may do the completely without by myself, or I may know, let's say, 90%. Again, I go to the teacher, and the teacher corrects me. So the teacher here is the intellect, right? And the fourth time, I know now it has become a habit for me as a mind. I will not go to the intellect. I will just do it, right? So now this is how the analogy I will use, saying like,
Mm.
why is it possessed, or they are merely, all these mind and body is possessed and played. Does that make sense?
Yes, yes. So here,
Mhm,
the teacher refers to already trained mind,
mhm.
or
I'm referring to the intellect.
intellect. Yeah, yeah.
Mhm, mhm.
So intellect is nothing but mind only.
Yeah,
Uh,
okay. We divide it into, yeah, again, the mind is it is used for the subset entity and the full thing also. Right. So uh, like the it's a complex of the thinking mind and the memory, the buddhi, uh, right? So mano, chitta, ahankara, right?
mm,
Mana,
So it's
buddhi,
a
chitta, ahankara.
mano, buddhi, chitta, ahankara, right? So that complex also in language, in English, we are just saying mind. It's a
Mm.
complex. Yeah. While when you divide it, then like that, the intellect, buddhi is
Yeah.
coming there.
In the Antahkarana
Antakarana.
is
Yeah.
divided into
Correct.
Manas, Chitta, Ahankara, Buddhi. So
Yeah.
4 parts. Mm. So when the repeated actions will become deep samskaras.
Yeah.
So that repeated habit patterns uh,
Yes.
becomes deep samskaras that uh, will be stored predominant in buddhi,
Yes.
intellect.
Mhm. Not
So,
not buddhi. Buddhi can still discriminate if
huh,
it is access. It's like the guru still knows, the teacher still knows. It
mm,
is, do I go to the, am I going to the guru and asking? That is the conscious part. The
mm,
unconscious thing is, you know what? Hey, I know it. I will do it. And if that what I know is incorrect, I will keep doing the incorrect thing, which is what is the deep samskaras we have, which is the body is me, and
mm,
right, the mind is me. So the body and mind turbulences or distractions are disturbing me, right?
okay.
Right.
Mm,
So what we are again doing with this satsang is, you know what, like consciously going back to the guru.
mm.
Right.
Yes, correct.
And
Consciously
it
going back
is,
to buddhi,
yeah,
discriminating, and then
yeah.
deepening, sending that truth to the deeper level of consciousness.
Hmm.
So making that uh, making that as a habit pattern, we are doing that
Hmm. Hmm.
repeated thing. We are listening to Guruji's talk, and we are here clarifying ourselves, and with the help of Vijayji, and then sending those truth to the deeper levels.
Hmm. Yeah.
Satya.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Again, just to see, it's like uh, the buddhi is like the class teacher, and the student is going to the class teacher again and again, and at some point of time the teacher is not able to explain, hey, all the deep questions. That's where the class teacher is going to the senior teacher, saying, okay, how do I like clarify this to me, right? So which is, who is the guru? Right. So uh, yeah, but at the end of the day, it is the right training and habit formation of this, the mind which is controlling the body, is what
Mm.
uh, is what gives that clarity, so that the mind body complex um, becomes calm and always turns into to the powering self.
So
Yeah.
for that, create in order to question the intellect, right thoughts have to be created. So we need to take care of the train the lower level mind also to create right feelings, right thoughts,
Yeah.
so that here heart and head coordination. So head we can consider as it is a mind, and the lower mind can be considered as the heart, the feelings, thoughts. See, feelings arises in mind or intellect. Sorry, in lower level mind, we'll get that instincts, right?
Mhm.
So those are nothing but feelings.
Mhm.
See, because I have a feeling that I have to attend AVSC class, Vijayji's class. So that instructor, the once the feeling comes, if the feeling is very clear, I want to attend, then I'll not have any other choices.
Mhm.
This will be my first priority.
Mhm.
But if I don't have a strong feeling here, in the lower mind, then I go to buddhi. I ask whether I have to attend or I can sleep for some more time, or I can take any other work as priority. I can go for jogging or walking, or I can go for, see, like that. So that, uh, so initially, the mind is also important, right? Up to some extent.
Yeah, mind is always important. Not also, I would say always. What we are doing here is knowing how the mind operates and then
Hmm.
using that same behavior to uplift, uh, which is how is the mind operating? It is learning one thing,
Hmm.
okay, which is like, let's say, oh, okay, I attended the satsang, I felt good. The second thing is, I know that the mind can be trained, and which will lead to the third thing, which is the habit. That training the mind is okay. Consciously, let me go and sit,
Hmm.
and you do it 3 times, 4 times, then it becomes a habit. Then like when it becomes a habit, it doesn't even ask should I attend or not. You just like wake up, it's Sunday, okay. You get up 5 a.m. and like do it, and then come and sit. It's like you just harness the power of mind only. Now you didn't go through the full process again every time. It's like when I'm driving, first time I may ask the Google Map give me direction.
Hmm.
A second time, third time, I may use it once in a while. But the fourth time later on, if I have to go from A to B, I will just drive. I'm not even asking, because that habit, the wiring got created in our head. They say that the connections form in the head.
Yes.
Lot of
Na-
articles I read
Neural
receive
network. Yeah,
neural
yeah, neural.
networks, right?
Yes, yes, yes.
So the connection happens, and even if somebody comes and tells him, you know what, like we have a awesome program planned for this Sunday, it's like you have to now break that circuit, and like you are going to do, no, it's there in my head, right? It's not easy to break it now, right? You will either reschedule all the other things to continue with this, right?
Wonderful.
So we are using the same mind which led us to this suffering,
Hmm.
to relieve us also from, to get us out of the suffering as well. Right?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
here intellect is acting as a wise, what you call manager. It manages what to take from the.
Uh-huh. I would say it's still the intellect is the conscious thinking part, where they say, right, like if you can be aware, you know what you are doing, and like you will not do many things which are wrong, and you will do more things which are right. So it is
Hmm.
that conscious connection that if I can make, then like it will bring down the suffering, like how much. So like, after going through Bhagavad Gita, this is what I keep telling myself, that Krishna is with each one all the time as the intellect. Now you reach out to him, he guides us in the right path. Otherwise, he is just sitting there, and right, and whether and you are taking your own decision. So the more you reach out to the deep, and you will get the right thing to do.
Okay. Very nice.
I'm
So intellect has a connection with consciousness. So just surrender to the mm,
yeah. Uh,
intellect.
yeah. So yeah, surrendered. Yeah. Intellect surrendered uh, to the consciousness is basically that the intellect has tapped into the infinite resource, knowledge, and so there is clarity, which brings basically the clarity, infinite clarity.
So surrendering means not the body or mind.
Yeah,
It is.
body is external,
Mhm.
right?
Mainly, it is the intellect.
Yeah. Actually, in some ways, I would say the m- mind, the mind is the one which is controlling the senses, and mind is the one which is driving the right. So the aham here, the so this mind, the more the mind thinks that I know and I am doing everything which is all which is right, or sometimes the mind may say I don't know if I am doing right or not, but I will continue to do this. This deciding authority entity has to surrender. Okay, so once this deciding authority surrenders, then the path becomes very clear. But
So this sloka is nothing but ನಾನು ನಾನೆಂಬುದು ನಾನಲ್ಲ ದೇಹ ಮನ
yeah,
ಬುದ್ಧಿ
correct.
ಬುದ್ಧಿನೂ ನಾನಲ್ಲ. So that is nothing but surrendering.
Hmm.
And it is a way of recognizing I am that the witnessing self, the real life.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Saran.
Yes.
Yeah, I have a few questions, but before that, let's welcome Anupama ji, Hari Om,
Hari
Deepa
Om.
ji, Hari Om, Manasa ji, Hari Om. So today we've begun with this particular shloka. So Saravanan chanted and he narrated his viewpoint, and based on that, you heard just now few of the questions that Rajita ji raised. To any one of your mind also, currently, are there any questions? Anupama ji, Deepa ji, Manasa ji, based on what you are seeing and based on whatever you heard between Saravanan ji and Rajita ji, do you want to ask any question to Saravanan ji?
Yeah, I didn't listen to the complete conversation because I joined late.
Yeah.
So,
Okay. All right. No problem. So I have a few questions. So let me first frame them.
Hmm.
Because Saranji, the way we use the terms made me feel a little
Okay.
uh, confused. Okay, so
Hmm.
therefore I'll start with the simple questions. What is mind? And we keep using different terminologies: lower mind, higher mind. Uh, please distinguish. We also keep saying that everything else other than the consciousness is inert. So we have a way of looking at jada and chaitanya.
Mhm.
So chaitanya, there is only one chaitanya,
Hmm.
and rest everything else is jada,
Hmm.
and they are all lit by chaitanya.
Chaitanya.
So which in other words means
Hmm.
that
Hmm.
um, witness alone
Hmm.
is consciousness, and mind is essentially jada,
Hmm.
unconscious,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
But the way we narrate it now is
Hmm.
as if mind has its own conscious capability. It's being described as if
Hmm.
the mind has its own conscious capability.
Hmm. Hmm.
And that is the way even the lower mind makes a decision. We have to go to the higher mind to make the decision. So
Hmm.
as if the decision, because at the end of the day, without consciousness, how can there be decision?
Hmm.
So it's being discussed as if mind is conscious.
Hmm.
So please clarify. So please clarify this aspect, what is conscious and what is unconscious. And then finally, who is possessed? There is an aspect of possessed and played with. Who is that who is really possessed?
Mm.
And who is that who is becoming free from that possession? And in that, when the Kavi says, or the way you described, you are a mere witnessing self, the one that whatever you are witnessing, what is the connection between you and what is being witnessed? Is there connection or no connection at all? So these are some of the questions, Sarvanji. You can take up one by one also.
Okay, so mind is uh, the one that is receiving the inputs from the senses and driving the senses. It's like the driver who's sitting in the car and looking and driving, right? And
So the one who receives the inputs and decides.
yeah, and takes the actions,
Mm.
and the one who is in the play,
Mm.
right? Um, let's come back again, if like, or it may get
So,
uh,
so I'll for the sake of discussion, so that as we discussed, we can clearly see it on the screen. So one who decides based on one who. So you said two particular things. One who receives inputs from senses, and one who decides.
yeah, based on the uh, uh, based on the information available in memory, chitta, in
Based on information
memory,
available
right? On
available in memory.
yeah, which is like, I liked it last time when I enjoyed it. I want to, if I do it now, I'll be happy, right? So this is the one which is driving, uh, or this one, I can say, the lower mind.
So
Okay,
this entire thing, this
yeah,
A and B,
can
what
be referred to as lower mind.
this is lower mind, according to you.
Mm.
Okay.
Yeah, the higher mind is the actual uh, the or I can say the higher mind here we can refer to as the intellect, uh, which is like when the intellect comes into play, it starts doing the discrimination again. Again, the intellect is um, yeah,
So in other words, your viewpoint is intellect is equal to higher mind.
higher mind.
Okay. So this input coming from senses and some kind of a decision happening. Who is the one who is deciding here? When you used both of these as lower mind,
Mm.
who's the one who's deciding?
So as like if you go back to our complex mind complex, that
Yeah.
mind mano is the lower, buddhi is the higher, chitta is the memory, and the ahankara is the is the one who is
So the
deciding.
complex is equal to
Mano, buddhi,
mano,
ahankara, chitta,
buddhi, chitta,
ahankara.
ahankara.
So I can say mano is a lower, buddhi is a higher, chitta memory, and ahankara is the one who is claiming all these things. I did it. I am doing it.
So according to your viewpoint,
Ah,
this is lower,
ah,
this is higher,
ah.
and these two,
The memory, this is the memory part, and
correct, but they are not, they cannot be classified under lower or higher.
yeah, I yeah, I'm just looking at yeah, I don't yeah, I don't know where to put them. Yeah. Or you can put all these in the lower part, chitta and ahankara also. Okay, let's. But yeah, with the meaning that like okay, you just want to place them. No, okay, okay.
Okay. Um, and when you say higher and lower,
Mm.
in what sense higher and lower?
Yeah. So lower meaning the subconscious one, which is taking action from the memory blindly and based on the habits, right?
Subconscious
Yeah,
or
mind, subconscious mind.
vritti or habit. So what happens habitually is lower
Mm.
according to
Lower.
you.
Mm.
So higher is
Conscious, yeah, conscious mind or conscious action.
conscious action. Okay.
Mm.
All right. This is what you mean by higher.
Mm.
Okay. All right. So let's first dwell on these two alone.
Ah,
Let's
mm.
make sure that all of us have
Yeah.
had a chance to review this.
Mm.
Are there agreements, disagreements with the way Saranji is framing this? Are there questions in anybody's mind? No question means total confusion or total acceptance or total rejection. I don't even want to voice my viewpoint. At least you can say whatever Saranji has said is okay. Give a thumbs up. Those who are giving thumbs up. Oh, Rajita ji, Manasa ji, Deepa ji, Anupama ji. Is it a thumbs up or not?
Still thinking
Sarananji,
about the Srijaji.
What Anupama ji?
Still thinking whether to agree or I have different understanding.
Good, good. Then it is okay. Then it is okay. Huh.
uh, partially I agree and partially I don't agree.
Very good, very good. Then we have a stage set.
So why I agree is that um yes, lower level without any effort, few things we do it without any much effort. So that is whatever it is stored in the subconscious mind, it will be coming to the surface level, and we'll be performing our actions. So, like for example, if I go to any shop outside to buy some vegetables or something, without my awareness, I'll come and stand in front of my house only. I don't go to my neighbor's house, and I even by chance also I don't get inside their house. So it is programmed subconsciously. So, but how? Why lower level and higher level? Why that naming has come? That is my confusion now. Why do you call it as lower level mind? Because is it because of the frequency with which it is operating? Like the as per my understanding, lower level mind has that all. It has a karma, because if you operate with that kind of lower level mind, kama, krodha, lobha, expressing anger, sudden reactions, all those things, we categorize it as lower level mind. So based on what based on what criteria we are differentiating the lower level and the higher level mind? So that clarification I need.
Wonderful. Yeah. So, Sarunji, you want to take a... Is the question clear? So the way it has been described, lower and higher is not very clear.
Okay. So it's yeah, just from the it's again terminologies that it's that are like generally in use, kind of. I'm honestly, I haven't seen any scripture which split into lower and higher, but since it came into the discussion, I assigned it based on how usually things are used, which is a lower is which is the immediately available, the one that drives, while anything you go high is where like you tap into the um, uh, uh, into the truth, higher knowledge, lower knowledge, higher knowledge. A lower knowledge means like um, not very detailed knowledge. A higher knowledge is a more detailed knowledge, right? Same way, lower mind is something like which just works quickly, while higher mind is where like it taps and like does detailed analysis, right? uh, and what is more commonly used is this unconscious mind and the conscious mind, right? So the subconscious mind, we keep saying, right, subconscious, that a lot of things are. So I I am mapping the lower to the subconscious actions and the higher to the conscious actions. And if one doesn't reach out to the scriptures or the master, he or she is always operating at the lower mind, subconscious. Okay, they don't uh, um, uh, right. So with whatever knowledge one has, from which that that jiva has got from the community or from his or her own circle, right? And this lower one does not do the deep discrimination, right? Only when a discrimination is done, one is able to figure out, okay, why I'm doing what I'm doing, those things that requires going higher, and in the sense tapping into the resource, the infinite.
The way you're explaining, Sarunji,
Hmm.
there is decision making involved
Hmm.
in both the so-called
Hmm.
lower way of functioning and the higher way of functioning, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
However, in your classification of the parts,
Hmm. Hmm.
you assigned the mano to lower and the buddhi to the higher.
Hmm. Hmm.
So I think that is where the uh,
Okay.
the model that
Hmm.
you're painting is not
Hmm.
uh,
Okay.
connecting, right? Because all the four parts,
Hmm.
if you think of mana, buddhi, chitta, ahankara as four parts of a car,
Hmm.
all the four parts are needed for the normal functioning of the car. They are always engaged.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
You
Hmm.
cannot have a car moving without the engine or the accelerator or the fuel. So like that, if you identify some four
Hmm.
major parts of a
Hmm.
car, all
Hmm.
the four are always needed for the
Hmm.
car to keep rolling.
Hmm.
Likewise, for the mind to function,
Hmm.
these four parts, mana, buddhi, chitta, ahankara,
Hmm.
are necessary.
Hmm. Hmm.
Now, what is the lower aspect and the higher aspect? Is it based on the parts or is it based on the function? I think that distinction has to come.
Hmm.
The distinction is not by part. So, therefore, Let us look at, mind. There are different ways of describing the mind.
Yeah. Yeah.
One is, the parts of the mind. The
Mm.
parts of the mind are manas, buddhi, chitta, ahankara. So, what does it mean? This is where the input, sensory input comes in. What is buddhi? The discriminatory power, where the decisions are made. What is chitta? Is nothing but memory. What is ahankara? Who I think I am. So these are the four parts that are involved. So this is one way of describing the mind. This is simply saying that car has engine, carburetor, wheel, chassis, so on and so forth, parts. We are simply identifying the parts of the car. So this is one way of describing the, in English we call it as mind. In Vedanta, the proper word is antakarana. So
Ji,
the
one question.
sorry, Anupamaji.
Ji, Manas, when you say only sensory input, Manas only has this imagination, fantasies, thoughts. That is Manas only, no, Vijayji.
So let us deep dive that. Yeah. So let's understand. But first, let's understand what does antakarana mean. Antakarana means inner instrument. So that's what the Sanskrit word by word, anta karana. Karana means an instrument, anta, inner. So it is not something that is outer, that is not something available to the senses, the five senses directly. What is available to the five senses directly is generally called as outer, or in other words, gross. What is available only as a subtler, it is not seen by this eye, but it is still perceived, right? That is what is called as antakarana. Nobody can show you where the mind is. If anybody asks, okay, show me the mind, nobody can show. However, all of you are aware that there is something else beyond the body through which, I seem to be thinking, I seem to be imagining. And that, whatever that is, that blob, you call it as mind, antakarana. In Vedanta, in the scriptures, it is properly named as antakarana, inner instrument. And based on how it functions, four major parts have been identified: mana, buddhi, chitta, ahankara. So there is usually I like to see this as a picture. So generally the picture that I associate with antakarana is like this. So mana is like, something that the delivery truck which brings the whatever that, let's say, information from outside world. Imagine, you're seeing some bird or something. The image of the bird falls, the light on the bird falls on the eyes, and an inverted image forms, and that in turn goes to your brain. And that's where the modern science or the physiological science ends. Physiological means something that can be explained through various kinds of gross instruments. See, brain can be seen, and the activities of the brain can be seen through various instruments, EEG. But mind is beyond the brain. And the modern science doesn't have any instruments to measure the mind, to know the mind. So, therefore, modern science limitation is physical. What is available to the five senses, what can be touched, smell, seen, so on and so forth, the five senses. And all the instrumentation, if you look at all the instrumentation of modern science or engineering, all of them are based on these five senses. As long as it is perceivable by these five senses, that is what is measurable by science. Beyond that, science has no clue. Yeah, no way to measure, no way to know. Because science, as in lot of the ways, limited itself to say, okay, what is measurable, what is objective. Meaning what? Something that is an object available to the five senses, only that is the field of science. Oh, I should be able to measure, I should be able to repeat, right? So that is how one of the definition of science is. But the Indian traditional approach, the Sanatana approach, has been science as Vijnana. So there is Jnana and Vijnana, both together is Vijnana. Vijnana is Vishishta Jnana, a special science. Because the science of the mind is special. It cannot be measured through external instruments directly, right? So it is something that, a peaceful observation starts opening up for you. So there is no way to put on a piece of paper a snapshot of your mana, buddhi, chitta, ahankara. Just like how you can take a snap of your heart or your liver or your brain, you can show that in various kinds of snaps, CT scan, VT scan, whatever, right? Or you can show the movement of them through EEG, ECG, so on and so forth. Whereas mind, you cannot take a snap like that. So in that sense, it is subtle, it is unseen. Nobody knows where it is, but everybody agrees it is there. So there is no dispute. Is there anyone who is disputing that there is no mind? Then let's not ask the other question. Oh, then Jnani has no mind. How is that? That we need to understand in a different context. So, but in terms of the functioning, uh, the mind as having four parts. First of all, is there any dispute?
No, Ji.
Okay, so mind having four parts is no dispute. Now, what is the function of those four parts? If there are four parts, they should be of something to the overall system, right? So, what is the function of the mana? The way mana is, it is a sensory input. All the sensations ultimately to you, into your mind, how the world is coming, how the world is getting transported, how the bird is coming into you as a sensory input called sensations. In terms of, if you want to go a little more physiologically, ultimately it is nothing but some electrical stimulations in your brain. So some electrical stimulation, the bird that you're seeing is some electrical stimulation in your brain. Now that electrical stimulation lights up certain parts of your brain, and that essentially is nothing but is what carried into your mind as sensations. Oh, I sense it. I sense it, we say, right? Oh, I sense it. What is sensation? If you simply notice some kind of a change appearing in front of you, whatever you're seeing through the eyes is appearing as a change, whatever you're hearing through the ears is appearing as a change. So some kind of a change is appearing. If you ask them a little more deeply, what is appearing as a change? In the most fundamental sense, it is nothing but change of energy. If you notice what is appearing as change, what can appear as change, it is some energy that is appearing. It is like water appearing as the wave, like that the energy is appearing as a wave, a upper wave, a lower wave, some wave. So that is mana. Mana is like, for the time being, is like if you see a window, and if you are able to see water raising up and down through that window, like that, up and down of the energy is what is sensations. So the the sensations coming in to your antakarana is mana. The function that brings all these sensations is mana. Now, what is chitta? Very clear. That is the storehouse of all the previous experiences. Everything is lodged in the chitta. That is your dictionary. That is where all the things have been written. When a sensation comes, you first peek into your chitta. Do I know this or don't I know this? See, if you smell mango, you have, let's say, eaten mango, uh, all the memories associated with that mango comes up, right? Whereas if you smell a new fruit, or if you see a new fruit, let's say you've gone to a new place and there is some exotic new fruit, your mind, that is your chitta, has no information. The sensation is coming, but your buddhi, which discriminates and says, this is mango, this is nice, this is not nice mango, that buddhi is not able to make that decision because there is no information in the chitta. So even in such a situation where simply any sensation is coming, the buddhi is engaged. Buddhi is acting, but buddhi is acting based on what it sees in the memory, right? So that is where the next important part, aham, comes into picture. What is aham? Is another thought where in your antakarana only. What is that thought indicating to? Who you think you are. If who you think you are is a mango lover, that smell of mango makes your buddhi decide that I love mango. And when I love mango appears, the rest of the body receives that signal. And when the rest of the body receives that signal through a neurochemical mechanism, what is neurochemical mechanism? See, there is an electrical impulse from your brain that goes to the parts of the body, and there is chemical chain that starts happening. The moment that neurochemical signal, I love mango and this is a fantastic mango smell, comes to your mouth, you all know what happens. You salivate. Mouth salivates. What happens when the same neurochemical signal comes to the stomach? Stomach now starts releasing various digestive juices. There are so many different juices that are responsible for digestion, right from your beginning of the oral cavity all the way to the lower end of the digestive parts. Various juices, they get released. Your body is now ready to receive. So your mind then puts the next thought, consume it. So this is how any input coming, the processing happening, and then something seen as a action, some kind of an output happening, right? This is how it is working. Input, some processing, some output. This is the mechanism in any input, right? So now coming back. So the parts are clear, the functions are clear. So before we go into the lower higher distinction, parts and the functions, is there any confusion? Or is it clear? The distinction between the parts and how they come together to create the function. So, please either.
Clear,
Clear.
Vijay. Yeah,
Okay.
very clear.
Okay. So now the part and the function is clear. Now let's ask the question. Okay, so now we keep talking about lower, higher, subconscious, unconscious, all this, right? So the classification is generally based on the way the mind is functioning. So lower, higher are subconscious, conscious. These are ways of classifying, ways of classification based on how antakarana is functioning. Please notice it is different from the functioning, and the parts are needed for all the functioning, right? So it is not based on the parts, it is based on how it is functioning. So what do I mean by that? How it is functioning? When the functioning of the antakarana, when the functioning of the mind is based on the sensations and the memory and whatever the thinking of who I am, I like mango. I have to eat that mango. And if I see that mango in the hand of my brother or sister, I have to go and grab it. I have to have more of it. Why? I like it. It's for me, right? That's one way of functioning. There's nothing right or wrong. We are not talking about, oh, it's a bad behavior, it's a good behavior. We are simply reflecting on how the mind is functioning. So, this is one way of functioning of the mind. Now, same situation, there is another way of functioning. Let's just reflect on that. Let's say somebody is a mother in that situation. Now, somebody is a mother in that situation. That mother also may love that mango, like that mango very much. But now there are two children and they're saying, Amma, Amma, I want mango, I want mango. Now, the mother is able to say to herself, I love mango, but right now I would love to give the mango to my children. And she would cut and she would give, and she may keep one small piece. And that one child eats it and says that, Amma, it was very nice. Do you have one more piece, Amma? She happily gives, take. So now this is another way of functioning. Again, we are not reflecting on right or wrong, good or bad. We're simply reflecting, we're simply noticing same situation, two ways of functioning. Now, this is what is generally classified as lower, higher, conscious, unconscious, or conscious. Okay, so what is lower here in this? Where there is a vritti based, chitta based, or habit based, I love mango, let me grab mango, let me eat mango. Okay, is a lower. Why lower? Because there is still deeper uh, thought that I am only this body and the body can be nourished only through mango and I can get happiness only through that eating the mango. These are all the concepts that are driving that behavior. Why does one want to grab something from somebody and want to eat it? What is the whole idea of eating something? The idea of eating something is for that whatever you're eating to become part of you. That is the whole idea of eating, no? See, a mango can be on the plate and you can simply notice it. Instead of that, why do you want to put it into your mouth and digest it? You call it as digesting, right? Jirna. Jirna means what? It has to become part of me. Then only you have ultimate satisfaction. The moment as long as it is away from you, you still have a feeling it is separate from me. Why do you want to eat it? Because it has to become part of me. That is the seeking there. And the thinking that is driving that seeking is something that is seen outside of my eyes is not part of me. So as long as something outside of my eyes is within me, it is mine. That logic applies to mango, that logic applies to gold, that logic applies to husband, that logic applies to wife, that logic applies to house, that logic applies to other things that you and I say, I want to possess. Is the house in my name? I'm happy. Please notice what is happening. You may have some house, you may be living in that house, but it may not be in some piece of paper, it may not have your signature. Then it is not my house. The moment there is a piece of signature that appears on that piece of paper, it is my house. So there is a sense of wanting to bring everything under me. Is there anything wrong? No, nothing wrong. Just that this kind of making something part of me is a never-ending business. After one mango, two mangoes come. After two mangoes, 20 mangoes. After one house, 20 houses. So we know the logic. So this way of functioning of the mind is called as lower. Why? Because it's a never-ending game. There is a sense of dissatisfaction that is lodged in the mind. A very unconscious way of behaving in the world. Why unconscious? I'm not conscious of the truth that mango is not giving me the happiness. I'm not conscious of the truth that a piece of paper is not going to make me owner or not a owner. In a in the most fundamental sense, you are the owner of the whole universe. But that not as simply a statement, but as a deeper inner experience. Until that has happened, it is an unconscious behavior. I want to own that. I want to own this. I only own only this part. That part is not mine. So all that is a lower, because it is being driven by the vrittis, deeply lodged sanskaras, which again and again tell that I am only this. And because of that, again and again, the behavior is towards grabbing, wanting, eating, making something mine. So, that behavior, that way of functioning of the mind is generally classified as lower or unconscious way of functioning in the world. What is then higher? When you are able to simply reflect on the input that is coming and see what is the way of functioning which creates the harmony, What is the best thing to do in this given situation is a higher way of functioning. So in the example of the mango, so the child wanting to grab from the brother or sister is a lower way of functioning. The mother wanting to see how to distribute is a higher way of functioning. Now, the important question to ask is, when the mother functions in that manner, has the mother become less happy, less satisfied, or happy and content and satisfied? What leads you to that sense of happiness, that contentment, that sense of satisfaction? When that is consciously, conscious means what? Conscious means you, the one who's seeing this mind, the one who's seeing this entire mana buddhi chitta ahankara play, the real you are not sleeping somewhere. You're watching the functioning. You've not become yourself deluded with whoever you think you are in the mind. You've come to the realization that I am not what I think I am. I am the one in whose presence thoughts are happening. I am the one in whose presence this entire Antakarana is playing out its drama. And I have the capacity, I have the power to change the drama. I am the director of the drama. Witness consciousness is not a powerless, simply you see. It means that you are not affected by it. That is what is the fundamental essence of witnessing means, that you are not affected by it. Whatever may be the drama, you are not affected by it. Doesn't mean that you cannot direct, you need not direct. Conscious way of functioning, higher mind way of functioning means that you direct the drama towards a more harmonious outcome. When
Voice is breaking for me.
okay, is it
Is it only
breaking
for
for
me
everyone?
or
Is it breaking for everyone also? Looks like I put everybody else into sleep.
oh,
Was I Manasaji, Deepaji, Anupamaji, Rajita?
okay? Let me then.
No. It's
Audible
proper
to
only.
me
It
as
is.
well. Yeah.
We can
Let
hear.
me then turn off video and see. Continue and try. Let me see. Please continue, JJ.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm almost done. So therefore, what is lower? Lower is trapped in the thinking that I am the body and the mind, and based on that, the reactive way, the habitual way, the mind and the body functions, letting it happen. The habitual way. Oh, as a matter of habit, is like how Rajita ji gave the example. No, I'm walking from the store to the home. Maybe I'm on the phone, but still somehow I see myself coming and entering the house without even having to consciously think about it. How that happened? Habitual. I'm habituated. If I'm in a new place, that kind of a habitual way will not function. No, in a new place, if I'm on a phone, I will lose the direction. So what I will say, wait, now I have to pay attention. I have to be here and now to do whatever I'm doing. That is why when you go to a new place, usually you feel more alive because you are here and now. You have to be constantly in that new environment sensing. Oh, new smell, new sight, new sounds, new everything new. So my memory is not helping me. My lower part of the mind is not helping to function in that environment. Why? Because the lower part of the mind has no information about that new place. That is why suddenly when you're in a new place, you feel alive. So that is the energy that you feel suddenly when you're in a new place. I went to that trip, you know how I felt? Very nice. I had to run away from all this janjat. This day-to-day thing, no, was making me feel so miserable. I went to that place so relaxed. Not because you went to the new place, because when you went to the new place, your habitual part of the mind could not function. Because your habitual part of the mind could not function, your natural way of functioning was there, and your natural way of functioning is alive, energetic, happy, healthy, peaceful. So that happened. That is the higher way of functioning, higher mind functioning. So does it mean that when you're in your routine you cannot function like that? You can. That is a training that needs to be brought to the mind, to the changing the habitual patterns. So let me pause here. Is the parts, the functions, and how we can distinguish lower, higher, conscious, unconscious, are these clear?
Very clear, Vijay. But next question is,
Yeah.
uh, as you said, by being in the present situation, wherever we are, we need to try to be in the present moment. So for that,
Can you phrase it clearly? So
yes.
yeah.
So instead of going somewhere and every time we can't go, right?
Yeah.
So in each and every moment, I should be in the present moment. So how can I train the mind to attain that
Okay.
state?
Okay. Very nice. That is where the fundamental practice is a childlike mind is a energetic mind. Why? A child has curiosity about everything. How? Because for the child, this is a new place. The world is a new place. That is why the child is able to go and talk to that plant, that butterfly, that water, that mud. It has no hesitation touching whatever, smelling anything. Why? It's a new place. But as an adult, what happens? Ida, I already know. Oh, Ada, that is a rose flower. How many rose flowers I have seen? Aura, I know him, Appa. He always thinks like that only. He always speaks like that only. So, what is that in this pattern of thinking? In this pattern of thinking, you simply are assuming that it is already that only. But the truth of the matter is anything at any point of time that only? Fundamentally, everything is changing every moment. Who you think is your husband is not the same husband that you married some 20, 30 years back. The husband that you married is no more there at all. Please notice, not as a matter of joke, but as a matter of truth, that when you notice the body and the mind, the one you think you are with is no more really there. Every moment, whoever you think that person is constantly changing. So, the fundamental issue is what is constantly changing? The mind, for the sake of ease of functioning, simply gets into a very lazy mode and says, that only. So, therefore, what is the practice needed? Is to come out of that laziness. How? One is simply to practice more meditation. What is meditation? The intellect has this habit of right, wrong, good, bad. It decides. The moment the sensation of, let's say, the husband or the wife talking comes, the mind already jumps into conclusion. Oh, they think like that only. I know what's going to come next. So that pattern of your own mind, you simply notice. Learning to notice how different decisions are happening. You are on the road, a certain smell comes. What is the change that is happening? So, learning to watch the mind is the first practice. Meaning what? You're creating a artificial, for the sake of training, a artificial separation between you and the mind. In reality, there is no separate mind. But to begin with, there is a separation created between you. Who are you? The one who is witnessing. Who is that? The eternal consciousness. That is who you are. Only a conscious being can witness something and identify changes, right? So you are that consciousness. You are witnessing. So initially, the practice is to witness by creating simply a separation. Oh, this sight came. Whose sight? Who I generally call as husband or wife. Oh, this sound they made. And what is the immediate reaction that is appearing in the mind? I have to snap at him. I have to snap at her. So maybe the husband or the wife is asking, "Hey, where is that?" Suddenly, the reactionary wife or husband in me kicks in, and it says, "Can you not take it by yourself?" So I start noticing that. Oh, that is coming. Why is that coming? Because of the programmed behavior, programmed thinking that I am the wife or the husband, programmed thinking that that fellow, lazy fellow, never goes and searches. always wants me only to give. All these are the patterns in my mind which makes me trigger this reaction. So what is witnessing me? I notice all this without a judgment to even my own so-called my own reaction. I notice in my mind at that moment, a kind of a angry feeling arises, right? A feeling of anger arises. I simply notice. A feeling of disgust arises. I simply notice. A feeling of helplessness arises. I simply notice. I notice whatever that appears. I have no judgment. Why? Ayo, I've been in the satsanga in Sadguru for so many years. Why this is appearing? We have this usual, also another complaint, no? Oh, all of us have been coming to Sadguru for so many years, but still look at our behavior. Ayo, no. That is because somewhere the habit patterns are deep rooted. It's okay. Be very, very kind to your own mind. Be very kind. There is no way to help. Who will help your mind if you yourself will not? Who will help? Your mind is like your most closest child that you can have. A truly a very innocent baby it is. It doesn't know. It only has captured and it is simply playing out. Why are you blaming that baby? When the baby pees or poops or the baby shouts or cries, you will not go and hit a small baby, right? A 5-month-old baby, when it pees or poops or cries or shouts, you will not simply go and hit. You'll see why it is doing like that. So you simply learn to notice. Is the first practice. As you simply learn to notice, you will start noticing whatever kind of reactionary patterns that come. Now you ask a conscious question: what is that I would like to create in this situation? And always your answer is, I want to create uh, some kind of a happier, peaceful outcome. Now put the next question. Okay, how do I create that? What steps should I take? Should I take the step of a surgeon who has to cut away a gangrene? That's also for a happier outcome. Or should I take the route of a healer who puts a band-aid and corrects it? What should I do? How should I direct this mind and body now in this given situation? So like that, a 3-step. First is practicing to be disassociated from the drama. Next is you will be able to notice different characters and their behavior patterns. Next is looking at consciously what is the outcome and how to create that outcome. So these 3 steps, as I continue to practice, like anything else, happiness becomes your very way of functioning. Peace becomes your very way of functioning. We call Prabhuji as, one who has never got angry in the last 30 plus whatever years. How? Somewhere in his mind also all these sensations go. All of us, when we do our dramas in front of him, all those sensations also go. And in his mind also, there can be reactionary pattern. How many times I have to help these silly fellows? I will say, get lost. But why does he not say get lost? Because somewhere in his mind, he may be getting a get lost thought also. He may be seeing, okay, there is that wonderful divine. And my role is, can I remain truly peaceful even when this test is coming? Okay, it's a test for me and also it's an opportunity for me. It's a test for me to see whether how much of my truth, my inner nature, closer to my own divine nature, I have got established in. It's a test for me. A situation is a test for me. And am I truly functioning like that caring mother? So it's an opportunity for me. So a situation is both a correction and an opportunity. So, like that only, you and I can continue to function and continue to fine tune. Let me pause here. Rajitaji, does it?
Wonderful, Vijayji. So, coming to the parts of the mind, as per your explanation, so every time I should not go to Chitta and recall that memory. Uh, every time I should see the moment as a fresh moment.
Not
Uh,
necessarily. Not necessarily. See, right now, you, in your very sentence, right now, you said Vijay ji. How did that Vijay ji come into picture? Because of your chitta.
huh.
Learn to use the memory. Don't get used by the patterns in the memory, is a distinction.
Oh, okay. Okay. No, no, no. You mentioned one thing, right? The mind is lazy to go back and refer to the memory. So the mind assumes that, oh, this person, he is always this. We will just start labeling them.
Ah.
So we will not be able to see the liveliness in that moment. In
Correct. So the pattern of the mind is to bring that previous thought. This
huh,
person like this only. Okay,
uh,
let it come. Let it come. Let it appear in the screen called your mind.
huh,
Now you have the choice to make. That is where you are using your buddhi, discriminatory power, to ask the conscious question: should I now succumb? Should I now decide based on this, whatever the previous vasana about this person that is in
huh,
my mind?
hmm,
Can I judge anybody? Please notice this.
hmm,
Please notice this. When anyone judges anyone,
hmm,
ಕೂಡ ಅವ್ರು ಹಂಗೇನೆ ಎಷ್ಟು ಹೇಳ್ಕೊಟ್ರು ಅದೇ ತರ ಕಪಿಚೇಷ್ಟೆ ಮಾಡ್ತಿರ್ತಾರೆ. So when
hmm,
such sentence is coming,
hmm.
are we talking about the other person? Are we talking about the other person?
No.
In reality, you're talking about you, the
Yes.
way you see the other person,
Huh.
the way you see the other person. There's a wonderful, beautiful story from the life of Ramakrishna Paramahamsa. There used to be one person who would always get drunk and come to satsanga. Everybody else would get very angry. Why are
Hmm.
you allowing this fellow? He's spoiling the name of the satsanga. Such a divine place. He comes drunk and eating meat and all that. But he continued to support him. One day, the others got really pissed and they said, no, nothing doing. You have to put a stop to this. Then Ramakrishna ji said, the whole world pushes him away. That's why he drinks. If in the house where he belongs, if he doesn't receive a true love, how will he ever transform?
Wonderful.
So, Sadhguru's place is not a place to judge somebody and to push somebody away. Sadhguru's place is to receive someone, and everyone has their own journey. I have my own journey. Sadhguru's place is where fundamentally I am there to transform myself.
Yes. Very clear, Vijayji. Thank you.
Anupama ji, Deepa ji, Manasa ji, anything that you want to ask or add?
Okay. So Vijayji, at the end, observation is very important, and the knowledge from buddhi will work through observation.
You have to continue to hone it. It is like
Ah.
first time when something like an object comes in front of you and somebody asks, "What is this?" You don't have an answer, and they say, "Oh, this is a ballpoint pen." Maybe out of all that words they have said, you may have heard only one point ball. And next time when they ask, "Okay, what is this?" you may say, "Oh, it's a ball." They say, "No, no, no, it's not a ball. I said it's a ball point pen." Oh, okay, okay. Next time when they come and ask, you may say, "You said something about ball and something else. I forgot the other things." Okay, ball point pen. So like that, you continuously are learning, right? Then one day you may ask, "Why is it called ball? Why is it called point? Why is it called pen?" So like that, you can understand many layers of that simple words. No, ball. Why is it called a ball point pen? Do you know why is it called a ball point pen?
Ah, there is a small ball in its edge.
Exactly. Yeah.
Mm.
It's a pipe and there's a metal ball and the ink is always flowing and the metal ball and the pipe there is a small gap and the ink actually flows through that gap. Look at the wonder of this, the engineering of this. And that pipe and that ink should not, even in the cold environment, it should not become crystallized. And that gap should always remain. That's why sometimes no, you say, "Che, it's not writing," and you keep. What happens there is, that ball usually has become a little larger. So when you keep writing and it's not writing, and suddenly the ball opens up and the ink starts flowing, it starts writing. So like that. Or sometimes you do. So like that, there is an engineering aspect. There's a chemistry aspect. There is a social aspect. Hey, why are you always doing like that? You so like that, especially in our olden days, we had this ink pen, and in ink pen also sometimes it would not write, and sometimes we would do like this, and suddenly the ink will go and fall on somebody's white shirt, and that day you have a yuddha kanda. You got beaten up, and then their parents come and they complain, and then the teacher beats you up. Why did you do it? And especially, in front of you is a girl, and they come and they say, "This rowdy boy is always like this one. He always putting ink on my girl." So all that tamasha also happens. All for what? For one little dick. But that's the fun of life.
Yes, Ji. So even in the presence of Sadguru, if we have the correct, only when we have the correct understanding and the application, it keeps happening, means observing one's thoughts, and with the knowledge I am able to correct the thoughts. That is where only when real jnana happens. Is
Correct.
it correct,
Correct.
Vijayji?
So jnana is already there. Jnana is given to you, uh, and you are that ultimate. But it has to transform. It has to transform, right? So transformation there's a journey because the vasanas come and vasanas play out. So therefore, it's like think of a vehicle braking. Let's say the vehicle is moving at a speed of 60 kilometers per hour and you brake. There's a distance that it travels before it actually comes to halt. Now, the distance that is traveling is because it already had a momentum. That is how mind is also. The mind has its own momentum because of the vasanas. That is the vritti sanskara. So, that momentum has to modify. So in that is what we call as stabilization, getting situated in the jnana. So there is a realization of the jnana. When Sadguru gives you the jnana, Correct, Alva. I am not this body mind. I am this consciousness. Correct. Guruji, I'm so peaceful. So that is realization. Thank you, Guruji. Then I go and I am faced with situations. Then suddenly that Guruji said something, but look at this. This cannot be consciousness. This is not peace. Blah, 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 all that happens. So that is when it means that the Vasana Samskara have Jagrata. They become conscious again. They are playing out. So to be established means the Vasana Samskaras have to go away. The Bandha Vasana Samskara. There is a binding Vasana Samskara. When that binding Vasana Samskara, because the binding Vasana Samskara is I am the body and the mind. When that falls, then it becomes smooth, natural.
Clear, Ji.
Saranji, you wanted to say something?
Yeah, so yeah, I was just trying to map it. When I'm sitting in satsang, in terms of again going back lower mind or higher mind, the higher mind is in play in the satsang or with the guru, and then like once I'm getting out, it is like how much I'm able to retain or like pass it on to the lower mind, uh, so that like it is being useful, right? That's what the difference is. Like I'm feeling good here. The moment I get out, it looks like I'm back in the same state, right? So it is like either one is trying to be conscious, that is like engaging with the higher mind more, right? But if it is just sitting here and going out, it will be again lower mind in play all the time, uh, and which may not result in any meaningful change, or it will take a lot more time for a meaningful change.
Correct. Correct.
Right. Yeah.
So therefore, I have to consciously
Yeah.
keep applying.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
And the one who is applying consciously, one day disappears. In the sense what? Disappears in the sense what? Realizes that that so-called the I who is applying is not a real entity, is only a reflection of the real entity. To go back to our Anupamaji's analogy, I'm seeing myself in the mirror. I'm acting as if I am whatever that is seen in the mirror. One day I realize that, oh, it is me who is getting reflected in the mirror. So the one who is getting reflected is pure consciousness. And the way it is getting reflected is seen as the individual I. So when I realize that I am that pure consciousness and that I is necessary to function, the drama cannot happen without a role. Very important to have a role. Without a role and a role having its own vagaries, there is no fun in the drama. You want little thika, little kada, little sweet, little mirchi, all that is necessary. Now vada pav is good. And Pamari, that is your favorite food, no?
It's your favorite, Vijayji.
Good. Any other questions or anything else that we want to discuss on this?
It's like the most common topic, but we can just keep talking so much. Like there is always something new again. Keep digging.
Correct. So that is essentially what you just now referred, Sarvanji, which is the mind has a habit of going back to its kind of, known patterns, right?
No.
Huh. So that's why we need uplift.
Mm.
Upasana. So sometimes, we need a little bit of upasana to uplift. So as we keep doing that, then, uh, once when that whatever where you need to lift yourself to, you've lifted, then no falling down.
Mm.
Deepaji, you were about to say something.
Sir,
Sorry, Deepaji.
sir, when will this thought that I'm not the BMI become the subconscious thought?
So as you continue to be involved in the seva activities, and as you continue to do the Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasa, it will just become natural. Much like how the thought that I am Deepa became quite natural, but it did not become natural day one. The very first day when your name was called, it was not at all feeling natural. It felt, who is being referred? But over a period of time, and also if you notice children, you will see that very clearly. They many a times refer to themselves as Deepa. Deepa is feeling hungry, they say. As if, they and Deepa are, the one who's saying and the Deepa are separate. But over a period of time, it becomes integrated. I am hungry. So, like that, it took some time, no, for that integration to happen, for that thinking that I am such and such to happen. Like that, there is a little time. The jnana is there. So that's why go back to the jnana, function in the world with the feeling of service, Shavana Manana Nididhyasa, and the question naturally drops away.
Personal question, shall I ask?
Please.
Has it happened to you, sir? Do you feel I'm not the VMI?
Yes, Ji.
How many years did it take?
It is difficult to answer, Ji, because it is seen in the context of a window of, okay, when the knowledge comes, and since when the preparation has been happening. Very difficult to answer that question. However, if I answer it from the standpoint of when I met Vinay Guruji, so it was in the year 2012, and in his class, very clear feeling came due to the various teachings and the experiences. So, however, like I said, can somebody say that, okay, it is completely established? When can somebody say? That is where the various situations of life have been training continuously. They continue to train. So in that sense, uh, all I can give you is a prescription that seva, Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasa has helped, and that is why I simply keep on repeating them. So what has helped? The service has tremendously helped. Whenever I've been in any of the activities of Sevak or Light of the Self, there is a deep sense of satisfaction. So now, does it mean that the other activity is unsatisfying? So that's the question that Seva created. And now even the other activities don't really seem like other activities. So the feeling of the Seva is there in the other activity also. Meaning what? Meaning the same sense of satisfaction. And what is the change? The change that initially when I used to do the seva, I am doing seva. Seva means what? I don't want anything. When that feeling became deeper, even in the home or in the office, it feels very joyful. So like that, there is a time. And how much time? It depends upon the vasana sanskara. So therefore, there is no right or wrong answer to any of these. All your past is a preparation for your present. All your past experiences are valid experiences. So I cannot say that it happened this time. How can I answer that? That is why the point that what is the beginning of the ignorance? Unknown. But when did the jnana come? Can be identified. So that's the point of realization. And is the point of realization also the point of complete inner stability? Maybe, maybe not. Depends upon the vasana sanskara.
Yeah, one way to see is if we were to ask, if someone asked me, like, when did you fully grow? There's no one age I may be able to put, saying, like, this time I will say that it looks like I fully grew. The body kept changing and it is continuing to change. But the rate of change in terms of the size or the height might have differed, but the change is in terms of what can change, since the body is something that uh, the one that got created is going through the changes, right? Initial days maybe it was very evident, but later on it became subtle, and then like it looks like it is not changing from outside in terms of maybe let's say height, but it is not fully done from a changing aspect point of view, right? So yeah, even what this knowledge, what kind of change this knowledge is bringing, I also feel it's very subtle. I cannot say that on this day or like this year, this month, I felt a bigger change.
See, there are some experiences that get deeply lodged in your mind as very impactful. As a simple example, Deepaji, maybe the day of your child's birth may be very deeply ingrained in your memory, or your day of marriage may be deeply ingrained, or something else like that, right? Now the question is, the day of marriage, but prior to that, so many things happened which culminated in the day of marriage. So, like that, but the memory is large, deeply. That's all it is. It is a deeper memory. So, some experiences, therefore, leave a deeper impact. So, as a simple example, uh, uh, the very first time I sat in Vinay Guruji's class, and he walked in and he simply sat, there was a sense of deep peace within me. Now, I remember that. I clearly remember that. Now, is that the moment it happened? No way to answer that. So for me to recognize that, there is a shift, some other experience where such a thing hasn't happened was equally important, right? So in the presence of somebody else, let's say for example, I feel disturbed. If I had not experienced that, how come I'm feeling so peaceful here? How can that discrimination come? So like that, now Is the moment when I sat in front of Guruji the moment of recognition, or the moment that all that disturbance happened, the moment of recognition? But one thing is very clear, like that life gives you various chances of recognition, various points of recognition. But fundamentally, finally, it is you who has to ask that question, faithfully follow that question, be very honest, sincere, and then like we say in many different ways, universe, existence, Sadguru, there is a deep power that is you, that guides you back to you. Does this clarify your question, Deepaji?
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Anything else?
No, sir.
Vijayji, can I suggest one thing?
Yes, Ji.
I started trying this application with one activity a day. Like when I'm eating, I'll observe who is eating with zero thoughts, only doing that activity. So that gradually, took me to, before I start saying something or started reacting to certain situations, there now it happens. uh, why you want to talk like this? Who is talking? Is it your vasanas and samskaras? That question automatically comes, and the way the reaction has changed. So we start with one activity, observing the person during one activity. That will gradually, when I'm cooking, earlier, as Guruji says, do you made the coffee? That has come. When I say, I never now say, I made the dosa, I made the lunch. No, it is happening through me. That started coming. So we should start with one activity. At least for 2 weeks, we will observe that activity.
Very nice. And I think being completely aware while eating is a very good activity, because that is usually the time when all the five senses are easily engageable and are engaged. So that's an excellent starting point.
But I chose it in different way, because I never sit and eat. I keep walking and eating. So I thought, no, I should sit and do this.
Correct. Very good. No, but that's a very good starting point.
So everyone will, we can in our this session, no, we will all take up one activity and try it out for next 2 weeks and come up with some results
Yes.
and discuss. That
I
will
think
be nice, no?
that's an excellent experiment to conduct, Anupamaji. So so the experiment is one activity done mindfully, right? And in our next session, we will report and describe. Is this okay?
Yes, Ji.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Very nice. Thank you very much, Anupamaji. That's a very good next step. All right. Is there anything else? If not, we can conclude for today's session. Hari Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Sarvam Shri Krishnarpanamastu.